Culture is more than just entertainment. It's a lens into society, relationships, and human behavior. I'm Grace, and here on the Grace Report, we dive into stories beyond the headlines. Whether it's reality TV drama, celebrity scandals, or royal family intrigue, I'm here to break it all down. What it means, why it matters, and how it reflects the world we live in. Join the conversation, share your take, and let's make sense of the culture shaping our lives one story at a time. Good morning, good morning, good morning, sunshine. Happy Tuesday. I hope that your day is off to a great start, or because I'm seeing some of my Australian co-reporters here, I could also be hoping that your day was great. Shout out to UK Anne from Australia. So happy to be back. And once again, thank you to those of you who joined me yesterday on Kempire's YouTube channel to recap part one of the Real Housewives of Atlanta reunion. We had a great time chatting with him and Layla Lynn, and just, seeing you guys there as well was really, really cool. So thank you guys. So nice to see all of you here. We've got Gala, we've got Jambalaya, we've got Kay Ann, Michelle, Jenny, Kay Carr, Tyrell, Jessica, Venetia, Keisha, Brit, Kaylin, oh my God, Alexa, Tadisha, Cecilia, so many of you guys. And shout out to everybody watching from the bushes as well. Listen, you guys, Teen Mom Chatter had me working this morning, truly working. Remember, this weekend was like a holiday weekend and whatnot. So I was just out and about, right? I really wasn't I didn't have my ear to the streets like that, right? So when I went to do my research for today's episode of the Morning Report, the stuff that I saw, especially pertaining to Christopher. Have you guys seen some of the stuff with Chris? We're going to get into it, but trigger warning, you guys, it is dark. Some of the stuff that he said about Elijah, some of the proof that he showed about Elijah, it's bad. Really, really bad. Okay. So just a trigger warning and a heads up to you guys on that, okay? Good morning, Melena. Good morning, Cecilia, Megan, Deshauna, Ashley, Tyrell. Wasn't it fun, y'all? Listen, if you guys weren't there for Kempire's RHOA recap with myself and Layla, I was talking about how on Sunday night I went to the annual Firefighter ball. Girl, if you have Firefighter fantasies, come to Paris on the 12th, 13th, 14th of July, right? Let's just say the firefighters are ready to make your fantasies come true in the firehouse. It was crazy. I put a detailed video on what was going on in there for my channel members. And so that is what Tyrell is referring to. Y'all, it was crazy. I went in there so innocent. I didn't think they were actually getting down like that. I thought that, we're just going to go watch them dance with them and stuff. But no, they were oh, girls, we're upstairs. Oh, I said too much. Guys, listen, we've got a lot to talk about in today's and on top of that, I'm sober, right? So I was just seeing everything with clear eyes. It was nuts. But I digress. Listen, we've got so much to talk about in today's episode of the Morning Report. Beyonce was robbed, not personally, but her team. The burglars ran off with some unreleased music, some set lists, some designer clothes, all sorts of things. Hopefully they do not ruin Act 3 for us. Brit from the Real Housewives of Atlanta has officially announced that she is for real leaving the show. Not that anybody was questioning that anyway. Chris exposes Elijah suffering from a serious mental health crisis and leaving a final note behind for his children. We're going to get into that as well. He also played more audio of Lex accusing both Kail and Elijah, or Lex allegedly accusing both Kail and Elijah of allegedly slapping him and just other things like that. R&B singer Trey Songz is in more trouble. And we also have to talk about Britney Spears and her claiming to have adopted a baby. Meanwhile, that's not true. She's also claiming to be moving to Italy, but that's not true either. And then we also have to get into the Jenner sisters, Kendall and Kylie Jenner. They skipped out on their half-brother, Brody Jenner's wedding. And then finally, Drake. He is hyping up, what's her face? Halle Bailey's baby daddy DDG in an effort to get back at Kendrick Lamar. And it is so lame. All of that and more in today's episode of the show. If you find yourselves enjoying today's episode of The Morning Report, please don't hesitate to give it a thumbs up so YouTube knows you enjoy my content, okay? Hey, Ashley, nice to see you. She's watching from the bushes. Listen, I just pruned those bushes so there won't be any like branches like scratching you. So no worries. And thanks for writing in to tell us that's where you'll be. And Megan, yes, it looks like it's canceled, or at least it hasn't been picked up. So ordinarily the stars of Teen Mom would be filming the new season right about now, but they're not. And I don't know if you guys also noticed, but was there even a reunion for the last season of the show? I don't think there was. And typically that's not good news, right? And on top of that, you've got Corey Wharton claiming that MTV doesn't want it anymore. They're trying to maybe potentially shop it to one of those online streaming platforms, but it's not working. Brittany DeJesus has also claimed that it wasn't picked up for another season. And then in Ryan Edwards' divorce and child support custody stuff, he also claimed that it's not, they're not filming anymore, right? So far, it looks like they're at least taking a really, really big break, which doesn't surprise me because the ratings were atrocious. Good morning, OC. Nice to see you. Good morning, Jaleesa. How are you feeling today, Jaleesa? It's a new week. Hopefully you are feeling so much better. Hey, Jazzy. Good morning. Buenos dias, chica. ¿Cómo estás? Good morning, Nicole. Good morning, Mrs. Hall. Thank you so much. Thank you. Listen, it's over like a month old. I think it's like 5 weeks old, so I got to take it down soon. Good morning, Nikki. Nice to see you too, boo. Alexa says Drake needs to sit back and stop being petty. I agree. It's so cringe. He needs to move on with his life. And listen, I don't even think that Kendrick Lamar cares that Halle Bailey is dating somebody who works with him, right? So it's so strange to me that Drake would go and try to like back somebody who's accused of abusing his baby mama. Like it's just L after L for that man. And we're going to get into that. Okay. Thanks, Alexa. You too. We're matching twin. So why don't we get into our first story of the day, shall we? Beyonce, you guys. I was just so sad to hear about this. Truly, like, y'all know how I love me some Queen Bee, right? So when I heard that some people broke into her choreographer's SUV, snatched up some of her unreleased music, some of her plans for Act 3's concert, right? Jewelry, clothes, etc. I was heated. Take a look at this news report about it, and then we're going to talk about it on the flip side. Okay?
Action News exclusive here at 4 o'clock. Atlanta police are working to identify the people accused of breaking into an SUV and stealing Beyonce's unreleased music, set lists, and other personal items. Channel 2's Michael Seiden live right now for us along Krog Street in Northeast Atlanta where this happened. And Michael, you're breaking the story just hours before the Grammy-winning superstar is scheduled to take the stage for the 4th night, and you just got new information.
George, in the last 5 minutes, I reached out to APD. They confirmed that they have issued an arrest warrant for one suspect. More on that in a moment, but I want to show you. Take a look. We are inside the parking garage right here at Krog Street Market where this break-in took place. As tens of thousands of Beyonce fans prepare to descend on Mercedes-Benz Stadium for the 4th and final Cowboy Carter concert in Atlanta, APD has confirmed that a criminal investigation is underway after the Grammy-winning singer's choreographer called 911 after someone broke into his rented SUV.
So there you go, you guys. Huge, huge, huge deal. Again, please do not ruin Act 3. I do not want any leaks. I do not want any surprises. I want Beyonce to be the one to announce it herself. Like all of this was just so meticulously planned. I hate thieves. It's just like the lamest thing ever. Like, go get a job, go work for your own things, like to go and steal from people, break into people's cars, grab their things. It's all so freaking gross. Like, I don't get it, right? So this happened in Atlanta. Sorry, y'all. Are any of you guys from Atlanta? I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all are getting it in the comment section. People are saying that B should never come to Atlanta again because of all of this, blah, blah. But listen, this could have happened anywhere, unfortunately. There are bad people everywhere, right? And yes, Nikki, thank you. I started wearing foundation for the camera because I feel like even though I don't wear foundation in real life, really, it looks better. My skin looks better on camera with foundation finally. So yeah, I got that. I got my brows, I got my lashes. I got some lip. I got some blush. I got some concealer. I said, oh, No, we're pumping this up now, okay? Good morning, Matt. So nice to see you. How are you doing? I think I saw you yesterday at our Dream Team Real Housewives of Atlanta recap, and Jazzy was one of our members there yesterday. So shout out to you, Jazzy. Thanks for being there. I was seeing your comments and everything. It was so awesome. And hey, Ashley. Ashley's assemble. We've got one Ashley who already checked in. Normally we have like at least 5 Ashleys in here. So shout out to the other Ashleys watching from the bushes as well. Tyrell says, I actually started watching Grace due to her hair. Oh, really? I saw a style I thought would look great on my client and I just loved it. Oh, that is so funny. Was it like the curly hair that I typically wear? Listen, in the summer, I want to keep my scalp nice and breathable, nice and not open, but like clear and free, so I don't do curly hair. But yeah, that's so funny. Good morning, Lucky. Nice to see you. Thank you so much, Tyrell. That's so nice. Good morning, Nikki. Good morning. And yes, Deshauna, I do. Yeah, today I actually have like the works. Listen, base, concealer, blush, lip, brow, lashes, not extensions, but mascara. Yeah, I got it on today. You guys, so speaking of the Dream Team and recapping the Real Housewives of Atlanta, why don't we get into Brit Edie, right? Mini, not too much. We've only talked about Beyonce's car or her dancer, her choreographer car being broken into and some of her music being stolen and things like that. That was the first story, first of many stories, okay? Happy Hour Gaming, nice to see you. I'm so happy you finally got to catch us live. Welcome. Now, we did have a story about Brit Edie from the Real Housewives of Atlanta, y'all. She made an official announcement confirming that she would not be returning to the Real Housewives of Atlanta. But I'm not sure how much we care about this because everybody knew she wasn't going to be returning. She already sued the network, right? And she didn't show up to the reunion. There was no way that she would ever be returning. But nonetheless, she wanted to show off the dress that she would have worn had she shown up to the reunion. Now, I got to be honest. Listen, one thing about Brit Edie is she can dress. To me, this would have been the best dress of all, potentially, or second best at least, if she had shown up. It's a really, really, really beautiful dress. I love her style. So anyway, her announcement reads, and I quote, "As I close this chapter, I want to thank everyone who supported me, my friends, my followers, my amazing team, and everyone who defended my name. I decided to walk away from something that no longer serves me because I choose peace over destroying my mental. It's very easy to say what I should have done when most have not walked a day in my shoes. I choose me, and a lot of people can't say they choose themselves. I still have a lot of healing left to do, but you can't heal in the same place that made you sick. I don't owe anyone closure. I only owe myself to do what's best for me. My journey here is done." So I want to know what y'all think about that. Listen, I agree with Brit, right? Like, if this was really disturbing your mental health, if you feel like it was detrimental to your life and everything, walk away, absolutely. However, at the same time, I'm kind of like, man, like that kind of sucks. That's too bad because she didn't get to recoup her investment, right? Like, so in order to participate in this show, The Real Housewives of Atlanta, typically for your first season, you're investing more into the platform than you're being paid as part of your salary. And then as you continue to be asked back for more and more seasons, you recoup that money, right? And it already looked like things weren't too great financially with her and her husband between some of the lawsuits against them and, the house situation and everything and, just a lot, right? So I hate that they drove themselves further into alleged debt in order to get on the show and to eventually use it as a platform to springboard off of, only to fail at that, right? And to not be able to continue and try it again. Listen, I know Brit is a little bit like a bull in a china shop, right? But I think overall she could have made for a really good character if she tried again, because it was just her first season. I think we need to give people chances, right? I really think we need to give people chances. They can't be expected to be perfect right off the bat, right? Like, some people come in trying too hard because typically when they're setting up for adding new people to the show, you're in competition with other people. So you were trying to stick out amongst other newbies, right? So Brit was up against Kelly. She was up against Shamia. She was up against Angela, a bunch of different newbies. Nobody knew who would get that contract to be a housewife, right? So you have to be as big as possible as a personality. And they were up against other women as well, right? So I get it. Why she would have been too much, but I don't know, y'all. What do y'all think? Are you kind of like sad to see Brit go? Like, do you think she should have given it like one more season? I don't know, y'all. Listen, I know like originally I would have told you, thank God, good riddance. But now with like a little bit more hindsight, I actually think she should have given it at least one more season, but it's too late for that now. I don't see her ever getting back onto Bravo or television in general. Nikki says she tried so hard to make this season about her. She really did. And you know what's so fascinating about Brittany to me was how closely she worked with Atlanta bloggers, right? So there's a YouTuber that I really like. His name, well, there's actually two of them. There's House of Aaron. I think he's just so adorable. And then there's Justin from Bingeworthy, and he's adorable and funny as well, right? And so anytime Brit was hosting an event, those guys would be there, right? So she had this like straight out of the gate, she was already trying to win over the public. She was trying to like work with the bloggers and everything. Like that's somebody that cares so much about how she appears on television, right? Like you don't really see this with the other ladies. Like, 16 seasons of this, I've never really seen somebody consistently inviting out like, press, right? Not to question like their legitimacy or anything, but I'm just saying press in general, like that was crazy of her to be doing right out there on camera. And it was so fascinating. I wanted to see how this journey continues, right? Tadija says, Brit's dress is gorgeous, but we don't care. She should have shown up to the reunion, a waste of a dress. And I agree. Listen, hopefully it was just rented. Hopefully it was just a rented dress, because the last thing our girl Brit needs to do is to continue to spend and live beyond her means, right? Good morning to those of you tuning in, by the way. Good morning, Steph. Good morning, Amelia, Jess. So nice to see all of y'all. Kayla says, I just keep hearing Edie Brit from Desperate Housewives. Oh, thanks for reminding me. I'm supposed to watch. Could you believe I've never watched Desperate Housewives? Like, I'm so excited to get into that now that I have one of those like websites that like gives you it, because it wasn't showing up for me. So I'm really, really, really looking forward to it. And so look, Jasmine says the same. Y'all really don't care for Brit Edie, do you? Womp, womp, womp. Sorry, Brit. Nobody really cares at this point. And I understand, I truly do, where y'all are coming from. She had the platform. She had the chance. Say this and then walk away. I would love to see a housewife do something like that. Like if you really want to quit, then go ahead, show up, say, you know what? I'm out. Remember that lady from from America's Next Top Model? She walks in like this. And then she looks at everyone like this, right? And she goes, you know what? It's not for me. I don't want to do this. And then she turns and she's wearing a green top and a micro skirt. And then she walks off, right? Like somebody has to do something like that, right? Because if you don't show up, then you forfeit your opportunity to talk trash, right? At the end of the day. Steph says, it was real whack that Brit didn't show up so everyone could have a place to speak their piece. Not to forget, she's getting paid for a job that is very hard to get. I agree. It was a waste of an opportunity. I think it could have gone to somebody else. Like, we could have had another like Angela level, like superstar, like, newbie coming onto the show and whatnot, right? But it was wasted. Like Nikki says, she does have an ugly personality, unfortunately. Beautiful girl, but that personality, ooh. It was very easy to see why she doesn't really have her sisters don't really talk to her, why she doesn't really have friends or anything like that. Like, no offense to her. I was like, okay, girl, I low-key can see why. Good morning, Ruby. Good morning, Allie. Good morning, Kahara. So nice to see you guys and everybody else tuning in. Shout out to the Bushes as well. Oh, we've got our second Ashley here. Hey, Ashley Gomez. Nice to see you, boo. We have a running joke here about like all the Ashleys that we get, Ashleys assemble. So one of our Ashleys just wrote in from the Bushes before you got here. Happy Hour Gaming says, I can't believe she would start all that trouble and not show up. Exactly. That's somebody that like likes to stir the pot, but like cannot handle it when it comes back to bite, right? And O says, have you tried Sister Locks? You have such a really, do you think so? Do you think my face is symmetrical? Because I was actually, let me pull this back so you can see how it's not symmetrical. This side is so nice and snatched, and this side is low. And I was actually thinking of like getting this like snatched somehow so it can be like symmetrical to this side. So thank you for saying that. But like, me who obsesses over, my face, I'm like, oh, I wish it were more symmetrical. So thank you. But Sister Locks are really beautiful. Micro locks too, but I'm too scared because I like to change my hair too much. Hey, Nat. Oh my God, you guys. I can't believe that. That's so funny. How am I popping up in algorithms about hair? Because I never really changed my hair like that. So that is so fascinating. Guys, I like these little stories you share with me. Thank you. They're all so fascinating to me. Really. Wow. What a great day. Oh my God. And it's only Tuesday. You guys, so why don't we get into the Chris Lopez story? Okay. Again, very heavy stuff. You know, we're really going to be talking about mental health struggles. We're going to be talking about people being in the depths of despair, potentially making irreversible decisions. Okay. So once again, shout out to Teen Mom Chatter for this. She got a lot of screen recordings from Chris Lopez going live just before the weekend or over the weekend. And he is still extremely, I mean, extremely livid, pissed at Kail Lowry. And he's especially pissed off because Kail has Elijah watching the kids that he has with her. Right. So this is something that Kail has been laughing about on like podcasts, including the Lala Kent podcast and everything, how all of the kids, like if she were to pass away, for example, Kail says one of her life goals is to pass away only at the age of like 65, which I think is crazy, especially considering the fact that Kail has very young children. So it would mean that when her children are only like 30 years old, and she's still talking about wanting to have more children. She's also talking about wanting to pass away at 65 years old, right? Very, very strange things, but I digress, right? So she says, oh, like, you know, when it happens, I would love, you know, or if it were to happen when my kids are still like minors, I would love for all of them to go live with their fathers, except for two. Those two would go and live with like my cousin. And that is obviously in reference to the children that she shares with Chris Lopez, right? And so Chris is really pissed about this, of course. And so he's, you know, emptying the clip on our girl. He's saying, listen, like she is trash. Like she still has her ex looking after our children. Her ex, like he was considering ending his own life. Like it was really bad, the stuff that he said. Okay. So take a look at some of these videos and then we're going to talk about it on the flip side. If you're watching me live, first of all, thank you so much for being here for the morning report. Keep leaving your comments in the live chat, okay? And I will pull them up on screen. And if you're a part of the playback posse, we'll talk to you in the comment section, okay? Take a look at some of Chris's rant. It was long, y'all.
The biggest one that I left out? How would you feel when you come to find out you're being pushed to the outside and all these men can watch your kids, and you find out that the one person that's watching your children and had these allegations of putting his hands on your children wrote a suicide note. Wrote a suicide note. And you knew this person wrote a suicide note. And even knowing that this person wrote a suicide note, you still present to the court that y'all doing good and everything's fine. That is an unstable motherfucker. And you're putting all this... So imagine that. Imagine the people reminded, when they remembered that they had it, they sent it to me. And I said that to him. I said, how do you think I know this stuff, bro? There's no way I should know about you writing a suicide note. So when you find out a person you're leaving your children in the care of a man who wrote a suicide note, potentially can off himself, for God knows who what. And I'm going to guarantee you, like, there's got to be some type of pattern of men using their mental health by dealing with these persons. He got it from Nat. Actually, you don't know your information. See, that's the problem. Crazy thing about Natalie is I just started speaking to Natalie recently, within the last year. When I found out she wasn't. Oh, here it is. This is the note right here. It says, "Dear kiddo, if you're reading this or your mom is reading this," the entire time they blew his phone up. So yes, and then I confronted him because I confronted him about putting his hands on my children. If someone came to you, right, and then I asked him and I talked to him, I was like, yo, bro, like, you saying you ain't putting your hands on my kids, so are you calling my child a liar? He said, no. I said, then what are we talking about? Yo, bro, where you been? You been okay? No, nigga, I ain't been okay. I'm good. I'm doing better now, bro. I'm doing better, but I was not doing good recently. I'm not even gonna lie to you, bro. It was getting to me. But, bro, stop fucking with them dirty-ass girls, bro. They keep putting you on Facebook and shit, bro. Leave them hoes alone, bro. They keep putting you on Facebook and shit, bro. I would file a report. I did. When you got time to create an image, you can do that. Wait, how did you get the note? People sent it to me. Because she was passing it around like a school note talking about him. that means your dad is no longer alive. It's as far as I'm going to read for y'all, because I'm not going to read that. It hurts my heart that someone even felt this low to write this. It says, love your dad. I love you, son. He was writing that to his unborn child at the time. Yes, the courts don't care because you have to file specific paperwork for these exact things. So rule to show cause because she's not filing an order because she's supposed to inform you when she travels. That's the only violation. If you got a bunch of information of your kids probably being harassed or targeted or things like that, or your kids fail in school, it doesn't matter unless you file a custody modification and things like that. People like you are the problem. Because you're absolutely right, and I hope he did get help. I would expect him to get love. But you're overlooking the part of the whole thing. How would you feel if you found out your kid? Like, imagine that. Imagine you was being pushed out from your kid's life. All right? Imagine that. You getting pushed out of your kid's life, and then you find out that the person you're getting pushed out and trying to force on your children is not even mentally stable. For real, for real. So let's just say hypothetically, and God forbid nothing happened, but when they're watching your children, and let's just say they had enough, life is kicking their ass, they're struggling as it is, and they had enough, and go bam, and then they see two little boys and matter. Because how many times have we heard of people saying they had enough in everybody's life that's in the house? So then, who would we have blame? Hypothetically, who takes the blame? If that was, remember when I asked y'all on my live? Hold on, say that again.
My mom and Elijah put their hands on me, and Creed said he was gonna press the button for the elevator, and he went in. He didn't press it, so I pressed it. And my mom grabbed me in the arm, and I was mad that when that happened, and then Elijah grabbed my neck to sit down.
What? Okay. Chris is tripping. Chris is bitter. Oh, Chris is upset. Y'all literally hearing his child come and talk to him. But Chris is bothered. Chris's child is coming to him, telling him what's going on. And Chris is the problem?
Oh my goodness. You see what I mean, you guys? Like, it was very intense. Okay, so why don't we start with the most recent thing, right? So the last video, he shared audio of a voice that he says belongs to his son, Lux. And in it, Lux is allegedly accusing his mother, Kail, of hitting him and then slapping him or something. And then Elijah, his mother's boyfriend, of grabbing him by the neck because he cursed at his brother. That jumped out to me because there's something that Kail did that was really controversial a couple of years ago. And she even recently talked about it on Lala Kent's podcast, which is that she gave her children free reign to swear. She said, you know, I feel like children should be allowed to swear and curse or whatever, right? If you make it like a very neutral thing for them, it doesn't matter, right? Just don't react and then they'll grow out of it and not really be cursing adults like that. And so the idea that she gave this to the kids, and we've seen her post TikToks about her encouraging the children to swear and whatnot, only to allegedly turn around and allegedly get physical with her kid for doing exactly that or having a habit of swearing. I find that to be absolutely insane, right? So not only herself, but then also allegedly allowing her latest boyfriend to do that. I don't know. Listen, it's all just so overwhelming, right? That I don't even really know what to say about it. Like, it's really, really scary stuff. It is like, it's dark. And so a lot of you guys were leaving some really good comments and some questions and stuff like that about like, okay, well, if this is the case, all of this is happening, he's got all of this documentation, why doesn't he have 50-50 custody? And that is the question that I'm asking as well, right? So he says he can't get a lawyer because he cannot afford a lawyer. Somebody tried to throw a GoFundMe for him to get a lawyer, but people weren't donating to it like that, right? But I feel like if Delaware is automatically a 50-50 state, do you even really need a lawyer to like fight for that? Like, shouldn't that already be like the already kind of given thing? It's very strange to me that from the beginning, he didn't have that. In fact, not only did he not have 50-50 custody, he also had supervised visitation. So to me, that says that there's something off about him already, and although I feel bad for him and all that he's going through, this is why you cannot just be knocking up random people. Like, he should not have done what he did to Kail. He had a whole harem of women. He was playing them all, and it blew up in his freaking face. Now he's going to suffer for the rest of his life with this woman that he never wanted in the first place. Please, please, guys, you need better dick management. I'm sorry to say the word, but you do, right? And the ladies, better coochie management. You cannot just be popping out kids with any old random person. Like, what is this? You know what I mean? It's absolutely insane. It truly is. By the way, hi, Zindile. Zindile is one of my OGs from South Africa. I haven't seen you in so long, boo. Nice to see you. Another thing that Chris talked about in the live was a note. He claimed that Kail Lowry's fourth baby daddy, Elijah Scott, had left a final note if he were to take his life. He allegedly had the intention of doing that. And so some of you are asking, how did Chris get a copy? Listen, there is a mole in Kail's friendship circle. That is how some of these Instagrammers and whatnot are able to have such good information about her, right? Like, remember, all of the pregnancies and stuff were leaked. It was accurate that she was having twins, everything, because of somebody in her inner circle. As of yet, it's still unknown who that person is. However, that person exists. That person passed it on to Chris. So I think it's probably the same person, most likely, who is also in contact with some of the bloggers. I don't want to out which bloggers they are, but just saying, right? Wow. And in the video, Chris also says that Kail was kind of passing it around to everybody, reading it to everybody as if it was no big deal. And he says, listen, do you think it's a little strange that pretty much everybody who deals with this woman, who has a child with this woman, starts, suffering from mental health issues? I don't know, y'all. But listen, in my opinion, you probably already have mental health issues if at the tender age of 26 years old, fresh off a divorce, you decide to get involved with a 30-something-year-old woman with 4 kids by 3 different men already. Like, to me, you're already of not so sound mind, right? Just saying. Kaylin says, oh, this note is old, before the kids. Yes. So Chris says in his live that Elijah had written this to his unborn child, and he had known that the child was a son. So I'm assuming that this would have been for RHOA, which is interesting, right? Because it's like, okay, well, he wasn't in that deep pause with Kail at that point, right? Like, their first child together wasn't born, and they got pregnant the first time he hit it, meaning that they would have only been in a month-long, 2, 3, 4, 5-month-long relationship at this point. So why is he already at this place, right? So perhaps it was that, or perhaps it was the other pregnancy, right? Because to them, when they found out she was pregnant, they probably assumed it was another singleton. They probably didn't know that it was twins. So maybe that's the other theory that I'm putting out there, is that potentially he thought that, but then if that's the case, then why wouldn't he say to my sons, right? Because the other son already existed. But here's the other thing, you guys. Here's the last thing. Remember when Elijah cheated with that girl on the cruise? He told that girl he only has 2 children. And there have been rumors that Kail was pregnant by her ex-boyfriend that she was allegedly cheating on with Elijah, and that they questioned the paternity of that child. So I don't know. It's all very, very confusing. I want to get into you guys' comments to see what you have to say about it. Acacia says, what if the mole is Kristen? Listen, I wouldn't put anything past a single person. It could be Kristen. It could be Sterling. It could be Alessandra. It could be anybody. Truly, right? Like, I have no freaking idea. It is absolutely insane, right? It's crazy. I don't like, her world is just so baffling to me in the worst way possible. And I completely agree with you, K Car, especially physical. I don't think, I get that there's frustration and whatnot, but oh my God, like, slapping your kid and stuff, like, that sounds insane to me. That sounds like literally abusive, right? I'm not saying she did it 100%. I'm just saying that's what Chris says. Luck said she did, right? And that is just a really horrific thing to do to a child, especially a child that you encourage to swear in the first place. Alexa says, Kail's life is too much. I don't know how she can live with this drama. I don't get it either. You listen, Alexa and everybody watching, I binge watched season 3 of Squid Game, right? That show has still left me so rattled. And it was a show, it was fiction, right? Like, can you imagine me trying to live Kail's life? Oh my God, I'm too weak for that. That also, personally, I feel Kail has always been a bit more, I want my way and I will do what I have to get it. Hurt people, who cares? Kail wants to be happy. That's all that matters. And I do believe that is the way that she is, right? And again, just don't have kids with everybody, girl. Like, why? Why do you need to have kids with everybody? Like, you've just made such a big mess for yourself. Like, it really is such a big mess. I cannot emphasize it enough. And Gwen, congratulations. That is like a huge compliment. Shout out to you and your baby. That is absolutely incredible. Congrats. I love that. Gwen also says, I wonder if Kail would be a better person if Teen Mom only lasted like 3 to 4 seasons. I miss the person she was. And that's the crazy thing, right? I always tell you guys, and people are shocked. Like, I used to love Kail at the beginning when she was like the dental hygienist or the dental assistant or whatever. Like, she seemed to be so determined in everything. Like, I really do think that she could have been a better person than what she is now. She still would have been a very angry person, in my opinion, though, because like she's always had that chip on her shoulder. But I don't think that she would have subjected 7 children to living in this kind of chaotic environment that she has today. Tadisha says, it will always baffle me that Elijah was kid-free with a pretty good life before Kail. Then he knocked her out back to back within 1.5 years. Exactly. Elijah, I'm sorry, but like that is quite literally insane. Insane. Like, why would you do that? Why? On what planet? Like, that is crazy. And it's just so funny almost to even think back to like the BS that she was peddling right back in the day when she got knocked up with luck. She was like, oh, like my doctor told me, Kail, you have to get pregnant ASAP because, you know, you're running out of time to get pregnant. You're going to be infertile by this time next year. Go to a strip mall parking lot and get knocked up, girl. And now look at her. How many kids has she had since Lux? Like another 4, right? And then she's still talking about having more. Like, that whole thing was a lie. It was a lie, you guys, from the very beginning. And she still has not recanted that statement, right? Like, it's absolute BS. Becky says, maybe Elliot has been sharing. Oh, Elliot says, Becky says, what if Elliot's the mole? Thank you for that laugh. Listen, we don't know. Listen, anybody could be the freaking mole. Because one thing that we're learning about Kail is that all that glitters isn't gold. What she represents about herself is not the reality. And listen, if not 1, but 2, or however many of your baby daddies are saying that, listen, there might be some truth to it, right? And I agree, Tyrell. Like, and it's just so sad. It's so sad. I wanted better for her. I really did. Hey, little Miss Fluffy, you were there yesterday too. Nice to see you. If he feels his child is being abused, he should be trying to get an investigation open, not trying to put Kail in her place by going live. Doesn't seem like he cares about the issue at hand. And you know what? This is a great point. Listen, maybe he can't afford an attorney for the family court, but maybe he can go to CPS, right? Like, why isn't he going to CPS? That's a great question. Listen. The viewers of this show have been calling CPS on these ladies forever, especially Farrah, especially Janelle. Why isn't Chris, if he really feels like his son is in physical danger, why isn't he calling CPS? Like something, right? To get documentation done on this situation. Like he says, I binge watched Squid Games yesterday. That's a normal Korean show. Just rips your heart out. Yeah, like, oh my God, it was so hard. I'm still recovering. I wanted to watch that new documentary on Netflix about Bin Laden, but I'm still shaking up. I need some time. I'm going to watch that new Lena Dunham show, though. Minnie says, I think the mole could be Lindsay. Oh, didn't she have a hand in putting her own parents away? I like this one, too. You guys are so good with your conspiracy theories. Okay, it could be Lindsay. It could be Elliot. It could be Kristen. Okay, listen, of these 3, I think so far, Minnie, I like this Lindsay theory. Because listen, I kind of feel like Lindsay looks down on Kail and her lifestyle and whatnot. By the way, apparently Lindsay secretly got married to her boyfriend or something like that, but that's a story for another day. Anyway, I kind of think it's Lindsay, y'all. You know what? That's who I would like for it to turn out to be, let's say, right? I don't know who it is. Any of you could be right. But I would like for it to turn out to be Lindsay. That would be hilarious. Jasmine says, Chris needs to get off social media, get a job or a second one if he already has one, and get a lawyer if he's serious. I'm sure they would let him make monthly payments on any balance. And that's the thing. There are regular fathers out there. You don't have to be a rich person to fight for custody of your child. There are regular men with regular jobs and careers paying for attorneys. So what's going on with Chris's situation that he can't even do that? Like, truly, this is a college educated man. He has a degree in kinesiology. He should be able to swing it, right? And you don't have to pay it all at once, right? You pay monthly or something, like retainer, everything. Like, come on now. I agree, Jazz. What's going on? Tyrell says, Kail did Joe dirty by going behind his back with Jordan. If you're worried about losing your home, how is D worth it? And it didn't even last. Oh my. Ooh, drag her, Tyrell. Get her again. And it's true. She was a mess. Gwen says, thank you, Grace. He's 9, descended from both a suffragette and Abigail Adams. Oh, loves to learn and suddenly loves to read. So I've got my fingers crossed that he's a good one. That is so sweet. He sounds absolutely amazing. Congratulations again. That is so sweet. And listen, it's the reading that's got him so good at speaking, right? KCAR says, I don't feel sorry for Chris at all. I think he does all of this for drama. Joe was a teenager when he knocked her up and Javi was her husband. Chris and Elijah were randos, so they get no sympathy. And listen, I can agree with that as well. And Joe moved states to be with his kid and everything, right? Like, and he even tried to move close to Kail, and she moved further away because she didn't want to be close to her child's father. Like, he really has gone through it. And Chris saw all of this and still decided to go ahead and knock her up. And mind you, he didn't even like her. If you at least like this girl and you were a fool for love, okay, right? You didn't love her, let alone like her. So that's why I too have a hard time feeling bad for him. You know, who told you to go and have a harem and play these kinds of games? And he said that he was doing it essentially because she was his sugar mama. She was buying him MacBooks. She was taking him on trips, him and his friend, right? And he was buying him and his friend designer dogs and whatnot. That's what he was saying in the live. So play stupid games, win stupid prizes. And I agree, Nikki, you know, and that's all he seems to do, right? He is constantly on live. Take it off the playground. Go consult with, maybe even get a paralegal. If you don't have lawyer money, can you not use a paralegal in family court? Shelby says, I don't think she's close enough to Lindsay for her to have real dirt. Are you sure? Because they say they talk all the time. Please don't ruin this for me. Imagine Lindsay went from turning in her parents to now turning in Kail, like on Kail. That would be just so iconic. I'm sorry. A says he may care about the abuse and still be childish AF. Imagine that. Well, that's the thing though, right? Why is he not reporting it to CPS? That's free. Dropping the dime to CPS is free. Why isn't he doing that? And if he did that, CPS, you know, if they launched an investigation, determined that that's what was happening, Lux told him the same thing that he told Chris, he can get the custody at that point, no? It makes you wonder a little bit, you know, like somebody brought this up in the live chat and it's making me wonder. I feel like Joe had it bad and he was a teen dealing with this too, right? Mm-hmm. Hey, Ramster, it was so, actually, you know what I did? I was recovering on the 14th from Le Bel des Pompiers, the firefighter party night. So I didn't get to see the fireworks or anything for Fête de Bastille, the 14th of July, unfortunately, but they looked really good online. Good morning, Summer Breeze. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Lauren says, no judge is going to give Chris more custody if he keeps bringing his kids into adult issues and talking bad about Kail to the kids. I can agree with that. And, you know, maybe the social media thing too, like this thing about like Elijah's alleged note and everything, and then playing these audio tapes of his son. This might be something that's seen kind of poorly in court as well, right? I don't think that he's playing this as well as he can. Minnie says, Grace, don't you say he didn't like her. He just said, oh yeah, that's true. He did say that he had feelings or whatever, but he treated her so terribly, right? And, you know, what's the point? I don't understand people like this where they treat you so poorly, like they freaking hate your guts or something, right? Like, what is the point? Go find somebody you like. Why did you do this? Anyway, listen. Very, very ugly relationship from beginning, middle to end, y'all. And the only people who lose in all of this are the children. And speaking of losing, why don't we talk about Trey Songz? Trey Songz is taking L after L, y'all. This guy is just so freaking volatile. It is insane. Truly, truly insane. Honestly, he reminds me of like Fist Brown. They're always in some kind of like legal drama. It's always involving violence and whatnot. And so here we go. So shout out to a TikTok user who posted a video calling Trey Songz a psycho. Apparently, Trey Songz was involved in some sort of an altercation with a woman at Ivy in Huntington, New York. So the person in the TikTok video says that there was an altercation between Trey and the woman. Somebody was filming it. Trey went to the man, smacked the phone out of his hand, and threw it on the floor, and then grabbed the man by his head. And then TMZ is reporting that the woman, the cameraman, and the bystander weren't the only people that Trey Songz got into it with. Trey also allegedly had a heated moment with the club owner as well, who was trying to de-escalate the situation. And the cameraman, listen, he sensed a payday here. He said, oh, did Trey Songz just smash my phone on the ground? I'm going to the hospital. Listen, I'm exaggerating. Apparently Trey Songz like grabbed him by the head too. And so he went to the hospital, and guess what he got? Ka-ching, ka-ching, money's coming. He got diagnosed with a migraine, poor guy, ankle pain, and a concussion. And so police are investigating the altercation. And listen, I think he went to the hospital because he is planning to sue. Get ready, Trey Songz. Listen, Trey Songz, you're just like, he was a star. I really liked his music, right? I love, like, he had so many amazing songs. I think he's a great singer. Like, you know, he's a pretty good looking guy and everything, but he's just always involved in way too much drama and too much trouble. Like, I don't see him becoming a superstar anytime soon. His personality is too bad. It's gotten in the way. And on top of that, he doesn't really make the power moves of somebody who's looking to advance too far in their career anyway, right? So womp, womp, womp. Didisha says, I really want Trey Songz arrested. How is he gone this long without jail time? I don't get it either. And they say that he's like a mix between R. Kelly and Diddy as well, right? And Chris Brown also. So I don't know how he's still like out here scot-free, but listen, give it time. You know, I think he did get arrested before, right? I could have sworn I've seen a mugshot of his, but he's never really had any significant jail time, unfortunately. So far, he and his team have yet to respond to the allegations, but stay tuned, you guys. Listen, I know a lawsuit is coming, and I will absolutely be sharing it here as soon as it hits the docket. I got to take a water break. So, and my glass of water is almost empty. My little Canada mug is almost empty. So let me go ahead and fill this. In the meantime, we have a word from some of our sponsors. And when we come back, we're going to talk about Britney Spears. What is happening to her? She's lying about adopting babies and moving to Italy. And then we've also got to talk about Kendall and Kylie skipping out on their brother Brody's wedding, and Drake trying to get at Kendrick Lamar by collaborating or co-signing DDG. It's a mess, but we'll get into all that. If you're enjoying today's episode of The Morning Report, don't forget we go live every single weekday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to talk about the day's hottest stories. If you're enjoying today's episode, please don't hesitate to go ahead and give it a thumbs up.
The Morning Report is brought to you by Philo. Watch your favorite shows and movies from over 70 different channels, including MTV, TLC, WeTV, and more for only $28 a month. Get a free trial today by clicking the link in the description box of this video to get your free trial up and running. Tired of learning languages in boring, frustrating ways? Try TalkPal. TalkPal is your personal AI language tutor. It teaches you languages in fun, engaging ways. It gives you real-time feedback, assesses your pronunciation, and the learning process is personalized just for you. Join millions of other learners and start your language learning journey today.
I'm just reading Steph's comment. As an ex-fan, I'm so embarrassed by the fact I used to go hard for Trey Songz. Listen, don't be embarrassed, boo. I used to love Trey Songz as well. I'm very, very disappointed. And that's the thing. It's become very difficult to enjoy music, especially because a lot of these like artists, whether they're singers or rappers, like they're not good people. And it's hard to continue to support them, right? So for us, we're going through it. We really are. Thank you, Tyrell, by the way. You're the best. All right, you guys, why don't we get into Britney Spears and what she's got going on lately? So she posted a video of herself dancing on Instagram with the following caption. I haven't worked out in years, so I put this little pink one piece on and played. How are you beautiful people this morning? I need coffee. And I want to let you guys know I adopted a beautiful baby girl. Her name is Lennon London Spears. This is 30 seconds of my random silly workout. I hate working out, but 3 hours of my footage was all stolen. It kind of hurt my stomach to see it disappear because while I sweat my behind off and had a white jacket on. Lennon today has on an adorable dress. It says, I'm new here, so please stop talking trash, America. I've decided to move to Italy. Listen, there is no baby, y'all. So in the background of this video, like you see kind of like a bassinet or like a car seat or something. And so people were like, oh, like it's real. She adopted a baby. No, there is no baby, y'all. It is a reborn doll or something like that. So this is a picture of Britney Spears traveling around with a doll in the past. It's not a real baby. TMZ is also reporting that she is not moving to Italy. So it makes me sad. You know, when I was doing my research for this story, it made me really sad. It did, right? Because you're thinking about all that she went through. Like when she got into the industry, she must have been so excited, so happy. She was so young. She was so vibrant, so full of life. She was about to make her dream come true, become this superstar. And she did it. She chased that dream. She achieved that dream. But Hollywood is just such an ugly, ugly, ugly place, right? Money, fame, fortune, it brings out the worst sometimes in certain parents, certain families and everything. And so she suffered all of that. And now look at her, you know, I feel so badly for her because I do think that Britney Spears is probably a really nice person, a really sensitive person, a really loving person. And I hate that she is not able to enjoy her life, her fortune with a sound mind. You know, she's very obviously not in a good place, unfortunately. And I really hope for her to get well soon because it's quite concerning. I used to follow her on Instagram because, again, I like Britney, right? I used to have that poster of her. It's like the background in the back, pink, sorry. And then she's like, you know, the Baby One More Time era. And it's like kind of like, I was like, oh, it's so cute, right? So I'm just thinking of my love for her and how I used to have our poster of her in my room and everything. And just seeing her now, it makes me sad for her. I think her family truly, truly screwed her over. I think the industry screwed her over. And I wish things were different. I used to follow her on IG, but then like it just got too much for me. I was like, I can't. But I'm wishing her the best. I love Brittany, y'all. Hey, Shelly. Nice to see you from the UK. Hey, Myra. Thank you so much. Yes, you guys, if you're enjoying, please don't hesitate to like. Ramster says, what's the matter with these artists getting arrested, scandals, court, babies all over the place, idiot behavior? Why? How? Why, for instance, doesn't Spears try to get better, to heal? You know, I think especially the ones who are child stars, you know, look at Amanda Bynes too, right? Like Justin Bieber, like things happen to children over there in that ugly, ugly industry. And it seems to be things that they just cannot heal from. And it's so freaking sad. I hate that for them. I really, really do. I think at this point, maybe parents should stop allowing their children to pursue fame because the damage is irreversible, right? Very, very often irreversible. And I truly hate that for them. Like he says, with the emoji she used, I think she was joking and people are taking it too seriously. And I agree with that, actually. Yeah. So she's putting these emojis and whatnot, but it's still very strange to me that she's walking around with this doll and whatnot. I just, you know, and I think her sense of humor and everything, these videos, like, you know, the vacant eyes and everything, like it's all just concerning, you know, and I really want a healthy Brittany, but it just doesn't really look like we're going to be getting that anytime soon, unfortunately. Same here in Tadisha. Brittany, so sad. Christina says it's all the abandonment and trauma she endured. She will forever be my pop star queen, right? Same here. I love her. I really, really do, right? And yeah, very strange sense of humor indeed. Lucky. Ramster says Spears can blow the lid right off that hellhole. She can, right? But I feel like it would probably be very traumatic for her and probably put a target on her back. Remember, what's the name of that woman who blew the lid off of the Epstein stuff and exposed the royal family and Prince Andrew, Virginia Guthrie, I believe. And, you know, she committed suicide, you know, like whistleblowers, they don't really have it too good, unfortunately. Look at the Boeing whistleblowers as well. It's also sad. It's such an evil place. Bree says, oh my God, Grace, I will follow anyone, honestly. I go on follow sprees, but I did unfollow Brittany. I couldn't watch her in the state she's in. It's heartbreaking, right? Like you see it in her eyes. You really, really do that she's not doing okay. And I hate that for her. I think she deserves to live the best life after all she's gone through. Girl, I wanted a reborn doll so bad. I just love dolls. Let us play with dolls. You want to know something crazy about these reborn dolls? I kind of felt bad about it back when I was living in Canada, this would have been about 2017, 2018. Y'all know Canadian winters are nothing to play with, right? Minus 20, minus 30, minus 40. I remember it was a freezing day, snow up to your hip and everything, almost to your waist. And there was this lady walking around outside of this clinic. I was going to the doctor's. And this lady was walking outside this clinic area where I was going. And she's in like this coat and stuff. And she has this like baby with her. And there's no coat on the baby. And she's just walking along. Like, it's not like she just came out of her car. She's running into the, the building. And that was the only building there. Like, she's just strolling around. So I had to call 911. Listen, I'm not just a bystander, y'all. I get involved. So I had to call the police. I said, excuse me, there's a lady walking around here. She's all bundled up and she's got a baby that she's holding and the baby has nothing. And at that day, it was somewhere between minus 25, minus 35. Like, that was really terrifying to me, right? And people are strange, especially downtown. And so they said, okay, they'll look into it. It was the non-emergency. Well, actually, no, maybe it was 911. And so they call me about an hour later. They say, oh, it wasn't a real baby. It was one of those dolls. I said, now look, I felt bad for calling, but like, I think, as a concerned citizen and as a neighbor, if you think a baby is, being mistreated or not properly cared for, like, yeah, you got to call, but like, damn, like, listen, I felt kind of bad, right? Like, oh man, did I get her in trouble? But damn. Jessica says, and they also told me a lot of people had called because she had just been like circling the place. I was like, very sad. Jessica says, I've heard of women who suffer a miscarriage and stillbirth often use reborn dolls. I've heard about that too with therapy. And maybe that's why she's doing that. Maybe, right? Like, she wasn't able to enjoy her time with her sons because that's when she was spiraling and everything. And now she's estranged from her sons because she wasn't able to build a real bond with them. And so maybe this is her way of kind of like healing that, I guess. But all of that, it really just goes to show that she's not doing too great. And I really hate that for her because I love her, right? I love her. I absolutely love her. Tyrell says, wait. Oh, yes. You already told me that, Jessica. My bad. I reread it. Tyrell says, forgive me, but I will never, ever believe Virginia. Exactly. I don't believe it either. It didn't happen. It's just such an ugly world. This is why I like Scandal, because Scandal really takes you behind these kinds of headlines, right? There's what the press wants you to believe, and then there's what really happened. And, there was like this. Do you guys remember the case? There was this case of like Chris Dorner back in the day. And it was this, like, the guy, he had this manifesto because he was a police officer and he was saying the police industry and whatnot is just, it's really racist. They're doing all these terrible things. And like, he wasn't being heard. And so he was sick of seeing people like victimized by the police force. So he went out and he, as a police officer, started offing other police officers. And I remember watching the live coverage of them hunting him down and everything. And so he gets into this cabin in the middle of the woods. And it was obvious that the people chasing him, they burnt it down. But then CNN, they kind of went off air, came back and said that he burnt it down himself. I was like, thank God for shows like Scandal, right? Because they will always kind of like show you like the behind the scenes of what's really happening behind these headlines, right? T says, Britney's problem is her family put her on meds that was way over the correct dosage after her Vegas residency that she refused to do. This is the result of over-medicating for years. The same with Amanda. And I agree. Listen, when I learned about her being forced to perform against her will, I was so young when she was going through this. I was in high school. And we saw her in Ottawa and everything. And like now finding out that like she was performing against her will, like a circus animal and stuff, like that was just, wow, like really, really just insane. Why would a parent do that to their own child, right? Let alone two parents do that. Like, that's crazy. Absolutely crazy, right? Crazy, crazy, crazy. I really, really feel for her. Yeah. And it's true, Lucky. Some of these people are crazy. They'll do that with a real baby, y'all. Real baby. All right. Milan remembers him. Thanks, Jess. It was a crazy time. I've just never been able to forget that case because the way they just like blatantly lied to our faces like that. Yikes. Yikes, yikes, yikes. Now, why don't we get into Kendall and Kylie, y'all? I forgot to get a picture of the girls, so you got to imagine them. So Kendall and Kylie missed out on their brother Brody's wedding. And I got to say, this is a testament to how bad Caitlyn Jenner was at fostering a relationship with her own children, and then between her children with her ex-wife and her children with Kris Jenner. So, for example, Kendall and Kylie have never missed any of Kim's weddings that Kim has had since they've been alive, right? They've also gone to Khloe Kardashian's wedding. They've gone to Kourtney's wedding in Italy, but they couldn't go to their brother's wedding in the United States. Like, that's crazy, right? And so their representatives are trying to dress it up as, oh, they didn't want to steal the spot. Please. We knew Brody before we knew the two of you. You would not have stolen this. It would have been just, and listen, Brody, he's an attention whore. He loves fame. He would have been so freaking happy. Like, he would not have cared. He wants the press. He's from the hills, right? So to me, it just feels like they don't really have a relationship like that, even though on Keeping Up with the Kardashians, we saw them interact a little bit. We saw Brody get to babysit his sisters and bring his weird friend Frankie around to babysit the sisters as well and whatnot. But it just doesn't seem like they have the same kind of bond that Kendall and Kylie have with their sisters, Kim, Kourtney, and Khloe. And right, these girls, they're half sisters with those girls, just like they're half sisters with those boys. But the difference is that Kris Jenner made sure that all of her biological children, regardless of who their fathers were, would have a strong relationship with one another. Whereas Caitlyn didn't even really care to have a strong relationship with her own kids, right? And forgot about them when she got with Kris. And this is the result of that. And we have already heard, Brody and Brandon talk about this in the past. So just very sad, very, very sad. But I don't blame the girls. If you don't have a relationship with somebody, and by the way, Bruce did invite them. So when they go, oh, like, we didn't want to like steal the spotlight. Like, I'm sorry, but how insulting when the person invited you and they already know you're famous, more famous than they are. Like, no, I don't think it's a valid excuse. What about you guys? Do you think it's a valid excuse? Hey, Sawsome. Grace, the parents want money. What the F? What show is this? Scandal? What's the platform? Are you talking about the Britney Spears story? Wait, what are you talking about? Can you remind? I'm sorry. Let me bookmark this. I'm sorry. The parents want money. What the F? What show is this? Scandal. What's the platform? Are you talking about Britney Spears and how like her parents kind of like messed her up? And by the way, Ramster, Summer Breeze says Raven Simone maybe, but listen, even Raven Simone fell out. Like he says, Bridget Mendler as well. Malen says, I believe Caitlyn. I blame Caitlyn. FYI, Brody and his wife are mega. Are they? I'm so surprised. Brody seems so like chill. So I don't know. I'm really surprised actually by that, Malen. I would not have imagined, to be honest. Isn't his wife Asian? Milan says Kendall and Kylie see Brody as a loser. Damn, isn't that crazy when you look at things from like a status perspective? Not, oh, this is my brother, let me go support his wedding. Please, I hate that for them. Did she, Natasha? That is so sad. So, you guys were talking about how this reborn doll could be used to help with things like that. So maybe this is a case of that. Very, very sad. And thanks for letting us know, Natasha. I didn't know that. I see you, BB says, creeping in late. Buenos dias, chica. Nice to have you here. Ronnie says, oh my God, catching the end. I'm on not the vacation. Wow, hope you're having a great vacation, Ronnie. Come back and tell us how it was when you're done too, okay? Nice to see you. Thanks so much for popping in too. Oh, vacation, I love that. Are you at a beach? Oh, my dream date. And you knew that. Okay, you guys, we're on to our final story of the day. We got to talk about Drake, BBL Drizzy, okay? I don't know what it is with Drake, but like he's obsessed with taking L's. And let me tell you why. Halle Bailey has been dating this guy. Let me put up his picture. His name is Scott Bridgeway. Do you remember the morning report we did a couple of weeks ago of her on the yacht in Italy kissing up on this guy? That's the guy. His name is Scott Bridgeway. He is a music producer from Charlotte, North Carolina. And he's worked with, artists like Kendrick Lamar, Kanye West, Baby Keem, Migos, 504, etc. Right? So keyword here, key artist being Kendrick Lamar. And now that Halle Bailey has been photographed with him, kissing, making out, having a good time, Drake, for whatever reason, has decided to go and post up with Halle Bailey's baby daddy. And so people are saying that Drake is claiming DDG as part of the OVO, October's very own sort of gang or group or whatever you want to call it, as kind of like a way to spite Kendrick Lamar, which is so weird because I don't think Kendrick Lamar even really knows that this man is dating Halle. I don't think he cares that this man is dating Halle. So for Drake to be so pressed that he's now going out of his way to post up with with DDG and everything, and to be claiming DDG. Meanwhile, DDG and Halle are locked in this massive custody war where extreme allegations are being flung around, right? Like, it is so strange, right? His addiction to taking L's is so fascinating to me. By the way, I'm catching up on you guys' comments about the Jenner sisters and Brody's wedding, okay? Jazzy says they're capping. Kendall and Kylie just didn't care to go. Exactly. They don't care. There's no real bond there the same way they have with their sisters. Tadisha says, I feel like the Jenner kids look at their older siblings as less than them. And you know what? I think that they've been raised to just look at things as money, as status and whatnot. So, it would be disappointing if it were the case, but not surprising, right? Seconds, I thought this was his first. I thought he was like such a playboy that he was never going to marry or whatever. I thought it was his first, but maybe it's his second. Oh, his first one happened really quickly. It's his first wife, the lady that like started hooking up with Miley Cyrus after the divorce. And then Miley Cyrus was also divorcing from Liam at the same time. Ramster, if so, you have a crazy memory. A really, really crazy memory. Malen says fake abs, Drizzy. Exactly. Like, who else has a fake abs now? Big Sean. What were we talking about on that on Friday? His fake abs. What is with these guys and these fake abs? They just do not look right. Ronnie says, we're in Kentucky. I've never been to this side of the country, and it's beautiful. It's so green. Wow. Are you going to go to the Palace of Versailles over there in Kentucky as well? I heard it was so freaking beautiful. Wow. Have a great time. That sounds so fun. And good on you for going out there, getting off the beaten path a little bit. Tadisha says, meanwhile, Halle nor her new man cares. Drake is a loser and doo-doo garbage is too. I like doo-doo garbage. That's so funny. And I agree. And yes, Jasmine, like Drake, you're too old for this, baby. Hang it up. Just worry about, getting your rap career back on track and just leave all this other stuff out. Like, your reputation is already in the gutter, especially as far as young girls and like, whatnot goes. So for you to be posted up in young girls drama and whatnot, weird, really weird. And Keisha, don't do me like that. He's not my people. Oh my, Drake is listen, and it's so sad because if you asked me back in 2016, I would have told you I love Drake. I know all the words to his things. I love the Take Care album. I still do. But to see what he has become, shocking. Truly, truly shocking. I never in a million of years would have imagined him ending up like this. I really wouldn't have, right? Ramsey says, after what happened, why would she even want any man from the music industry? Get yourself a nice firefighter. You know what? I don't get why these beautiful, famous girls are trying to get with these people in the music industry, these actors. Get yourself a nice person from a nice, rich family. Look at Eve. Did you guys see Eve she was doing something in London with her husband and stuff. She just looks like money and wealth. She was a rapper. She used to be with Stevie J, you guys, from Love and Hip Hop, right? And now look at what she did. Like, that's what I want to see from my girls. Like, I don't know why they're like this. Like, come on, girls, aim higher. When Rihanna was with Hassan too, I was like, yes, like this is what I want to see. And now to see her with like ASAP Rocky girl. Okay. Well, listen, please let the third one be a girl. Well, that's so cool, Ronnie. I'm so happy for you. Happy vacay. And how much longer are you there for, by the way? Like, how long is your vacation in general? This is so cool. I love it. East Awesome says Drake is committed to bad decisions. He has lost the plot. He's proven Kendrick Lamar right. And I agree. Womp, womp, womp. Very, very disappointing. And Deshaun. Okay, so apparently that was it, right? Ramster, you were right. The ex-wife's name was Caitlyn Carter. But wait, isn't that the name of that basketball player girl? Caitlyn Carter? Wow. Do any of you guys have like one of these like kind of like generic names that everybody has like that? Like a Caitlyn Carter or something Jones or something, Richardson or a McDonald? Like, wow, how lucky you must be that like people can't really stalk you like that on Google. I'm jealous of people like you. Acacia says he wants to rep Houston so bad, but that's all you. Not that's all you. Acacia, please. I'm so ashamed. Don't do this to me. I keep forgetting he's even Canadian. This is so embarrassing. Listen, on that note, I gotta go out and hide, y'all. I gotta go hide. Listen, you guys, thank you for yet another amazing episode. East Awesome. Each time with Stevie J was expunged, her wholeness has been deleted, period. And I love that. Love that. Okay, thank you. So it's Caitlin Clark, not Caitlin Carter. My bad. That's such a millennial name, by the way. We grew up with so many Caitlins. I love it. Who were we talking about? So we were just talking about Drake being being messy because Halle Bailey is dating one of Kendrick Lamar's producers. So he's posted up with her baby daddy like a whole ass groupie. And then we were also talking about Kendall and Kylie skipping out on their brother Brody's wedding. So since this was his second, does that mean that like they were at his first at least? Because if they didn't go to either one of his weddings, that's gross. You know, like that's gross. But I blame their father for this. It means that their father did not do a good job of fostering a close relationship with all of his children, and that the father kind of ignored his first set of children for the Kardashian-Jenner children. And that ain't cool. Anyway, you guys, listen, I got to get a move on, you guys. But thank you so much for being here for another amazing episode of The Morning Report. I'll be back again tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to talk about more of the day's hottest stories. See you there. Enjoy the rest of your day. And see you soon, guys.